appreciate you tuning into this live. Let me clean up the screen. Sorry, it was a little foggy. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, whether you're tuning in during the stream, during the live, I should say, or after the live. It means a lot to me that each and every one of you continue to come back. Hamza, welcome in. Drake, John, Dean, Donald, welcome in. XRP is moving up. I appreciate that compliment as well about the show. Drake, welcome in. XRP Fried Chicken, I appreciate you. Uncle Philly, welcome in. Uncle Philly, wow. One of the oldest mods back in the house. Literally, wow. He's been watching me since there was basically nobody watching me. It's always awesome to see like the very, very, very early on ones back in here too. Means a lot to me, Uncle Philly. So, as we know with XRP, I'm going to go over how we had surges in certain time frames, but something I haven't talked about yet today is that we had a 250% spike approximately in the daily time frame. So, we're going to see exactly what that holds for us. I wanted to come on right around the daily close today, and thankfully, I was able to come on right now when I wanted to. So I want to get in deep into XRP. We're still at about 54 cents. I would like to see us close this candle at 542. It's not necessary, but it would show real strength here, and we're almost there. We're at 5404, so it's going to be an awesome 9 minutes to share with each and every one of you. We also have the most important thing here with XRP is the volume sustainable? Is what happened with Bitcoin, is this going to be an overwhelming factor now? And we discovered earlier today in the live a true uptrend that is forming, or a rising channel, you can say. Rising channels are bearish reversals if you continue up it for too long. So we'll see if this continues and it plays true. We'll go out through all of this, I promise, through all of this. But yes, make sure you hit that like button. I was just trying to set it up on my end, but I appreciate 24 of you being here. Greatly appreciate that. I know we had a lot of people earlier, so we might not have everybody come back now because, you know, it does become repetitive, but 8 minutes before the end of the close, it's definitely a time where most of us should want to be here. Make sure you hit that like button and share this for me so that we can get more people in here. Gypsy, welcome in. Omar, good evening. Frank, I really appreciate you. Uncle Phil, I'm doing great. I hope you're doing well, my friend. I don't know why it wouldn't come out. I hope you're doing great. But also, if you want to put in the comments, all right, this is all set up now. For some reason, YouTube, when I was trying to set up the comments, I don't know, a lot of you know if you watch my lives, I have to set up on my phone because a lot of times the information doesn't come across like it should. Miss Vicky, welcome back in, love. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you tuning in. We're going to get started here, like, real quickly here, too. Capo, welcome in. Alejandro, welcome in. And it's actually going to be an interesting close here. We got 7 minutes. I want to do the intro real quick. I've got this set up now. I know it took forever, but sometimes YouTube doesn't honor what I'm doing. All right. So welcome in everybody who's tuning in. I appreciate it. I know there's been a lot of content tonight, so it's hard to keep up. I probably talked a lot of your heads off today by doing this for an hour and a half. Sorry, the gate swung open and it's a little windy. We're supposed to get a storm, so you might see a storm behind us as I'm on. So, XRP right now, good evening. 7:54 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, August 29th, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Hopefully we get some storms here tonight. I really appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button. We had an epic live earlier where we got to discuss all of this. We got to break down the levels, and we're going to see if one of our levels can somehow hold. It doesn't look like it as of right now. It looks like we're going to fall up just short of that 542 level, which is where I really would like us to hold. That would be a real sign of strength for the bulls here, but it's not necessary. Let's be honest. It's not necessary. We've come up to the 2-hour time frame, but we do need to come in there at some point and hold it. In the 30-minute time frame, looks like we might come back down to the 20-day, which is right around the 537 mark. We've come down to as low as 5366, so remember that on the swing down. This looks like a... that is a tough one. Is that a long leg doji? Yeah, I would say that's more of a long leg doji than gravestone, but man, is it close. Probably a long leg I would probably go with. That is pretty close, though. So those are deciding factors, though. Like, what are we going to do on this next candle? Are we still bullish? Do we have a breakdown here? We have a golden cross in the 1 hourly. Shifta, welcome in. I greatly appreciate you tuning in. Omar, welcome in. HR, good evening, my friend. Wow, it's nice to see everybody starting to pile in now. 49 people in here now. Very nice. Thank you for hitting that like button. I greatly appreciate it. But we're going to go through this real quick. First time caller, do you think the XRP party on September 29th will bring any extra news to celebrate? That is actually a very good question, Cryptic Crypto. That's the $1 million question. I honestly don't know. If I'm being honest, I don't know if it's just kind of to celebrate the fact that it's official that XRP is not a security, and no matter what, because they basically compared it to a computer code, there's no way to revert back with that and programmable sales. The fact that they sued Christian A. Larson's and Brad Garlinghouse over their doings, they both know now that the SEC accidentally admitted that XRP is not a security in any capacity. So that would go to institutional investors as well. So there could be some news, but we know this should drag out into 2024, maybe 2025. But that's good for us. That means nothing can happen until then. And then when it finally does, it's just going to be over. You've seen the SEC kind of got bent over today with the Bitcoin ETF reversal, and they sided with, oh, why can't I think of it now? Grayscale, yeah, they sided with Grayscale, but also BlackRock, as we know, is going to be in this as well because they're trying to get their own Bitcoin ETF. So when the big boys come calling, it's one of those things where there's smoke, there's fire, and I think there's a lot of smoke here, and there's going to be a lot of fire soon. I don't think this is just FUD. I think the FUD was, like I said, Michael Berry shorting the market, and I explained the circumstance. Yes, he shorted it. He put about $25 million worth of capital, which came out to over $1 billion or $2 billion in shorts, but he leveraged it. So he basically margined it, but he was only putting $25 million at risk. So he was already up a ton of money. He had hundreds of millions of dollars invested, stayed invested. The misconception and the false narrative was that he sold out of everything basically, or he didn't own anything else and he was just shorting the NASDAQ or the S&P. That's not true. He owned a bunch of stocks though that he believes in. He just shorted it because he thought there was a short-term capital right there. And he's down a significant amount right now. It's nothing to him though. I believe that $25 million, that's a sacrifice so that they could get a bunch of capital of everybody going short in crypto, everybody going short in the stock market, in the commodity markets, and look what happened. They got a major bend over event. And we talked about this, excuse my French. But we talked about this. When everybody screams, go low, go low, go low. When everybody's saying go short, go short, go short. Probably should listen to the person who's saying, you know, this doesn't seem right. Or you should listen to yourself when you're like, would they really tell us that everybody's going short and that we should go short and make a bunch of money here? If we should go short, no. We should probably go long or stick to our position. Grayscale did, the decision got overturned. Remember, the charts predict the news. The market was ready to topple over and go back up. We've been talking about this for 12 days. Whether Grayscale happened or not, that liquidity push was happening. It might have helped a little bit. It might have made it not so obvious of how manipulated things are, but rest assured it all happens like it's supposed to. I've been calling for this push on XRP for 12 days, and I circled it. I called for this push for the bearish cross here when it came through the 100, and we're trying, and I said every day it might get a little bit lower because you're trying to time it with the 20-day to see where the technical traders are and hit the 100. And then, you know, we might have a push in the 4-hourly, but yeah, that certainly helped. For the ones on the fence, they're seeing that news and it gets a little more collateral as well, but this was all set up. But we've been talking about this in the lives for the better part of like 12 days. And it seems like it's a long, drawn out process, but, you know, sometimes you got to stay very, very to the point And hopefully, you know, after this live goes out and during the live, everybody gets the proper perspective here of how important this move was today. Not just because, oh, we're going to break out, but even for a further move down. The fact we're going to come up here and it essentially looks like we're going to get liquidity. It would be nice for us to get a little bit higher to like 55.5, but we did get to 55 cents. So now it comes down to, now we got to watch these levels and see exactly how they want to play this market out. Thanks, XRP Fried Chicken. I appreciate that. And I also appreciate you joining Tom's Army today. I can tell you're in Tom's Army because you have the month 1 emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. And oh yeah, my face is superimposed there. I kid you not. Michael Berry never lose, I know. It's a convenient measure to use. I am thinking maybe Ripple IPO announcement at the party. That would be interesting. See, I have thought about that as well. That's definitely something that piques my interest. But yeah, we'll go into XDC as well, as we talked about XDC yesterday just very quickly. Had a nice pump. We talked about when it broke through this descending triangle, or however you want to interpret it. When it came down through here, once it came to the apex point, it should be a breakout. And if it came to the top side, first layer to top side hold was 5.7. Then remember what I said, there's nothing holding us until 7.09. We've talked about this for the better part of 4 or 5 days as well. And it worked beautifully off of the formation. And you come to the apex, and that was drawn out first. You come to the apex by meeting both points. And then it usually will hit the apex there. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Do I think XRP will go to 57 cents and then dump? It's difficult to say. It's difficult to say because if we do break back up like XDC did and we invalidate the structure down, which XDC invalidated most of that move down now, it was about to have a bearish cross, but XDC's farther, or XRP's farther down the pipeline. So pay attention to that with XDC. But that is another one where it's almost, it slapped us in the face there. Like everybody's saying to go short and it's not happening. There has to be a liquidity pull somewhere. Well, they got mass liquidity by everybody going short, I think, to help us push up here. So XRP, we are currently at 5.3. That was actually a pretty darn good close. We closed at about 5.3. What was it? 9.5. That's not a bad close. Honestly, we reversed the bearish narrative in the past couple days. We closed perfectly well above 5.24 now. We did close below the pattern formation again, which is right here at 5.42 approximately. Now it's 5.415. So we were right up on it. So that's our major resistance right now in the short-term time frame. And for anybody who didn't watch earlier, if we just look at this from a longer time frame, I'll bring it out into the daily so we can see it. We have formed a channel. So we formed a channel here. So here's resistance 1 if we come through, then we came down. Support right here. Support right here. Resistance right here. Where did we come through? Support right here. We also had another hit up here that we came through now, but we resisted here after a breakout. Resistance for the third resistance. And then we came down for the third support down here. So that is a formation there that we have to pay attention to. So are we bearish? My best answer to that is if we break up and it makes it look like we're having a bullish reversal here, if we can't get above 64 cents, that's ultimately going to be what we have to do to go back bullish. Anything under that is just going to be a bear market rally basically, or a retest for a further breakdown. So just remember that. That's what we're going to have to break out. This is what we've created over time. We can come even from here and push it out, but I just think there's more relevance because it came down, back up, failed. Down to support, back up, down to support, back up, or back up to resistance, down to support. So that's what I think is going on. But like I was saying, I thought this was a bull flag playing out and not a bear flag, but it still hasn't. I mean, that is about as close as you can come to without meeting that, but I still think it needs to come up to a little bit higher. I do. But it's not necessary, but That candle close leaves a lot to be desired. That's a gravestone doji, so that definitely leaves a lot to be desired. That's a violent wick pull. A lot of more pressure on the sell side than the buy side is what this is trying to indicate to us. That doesn't mean we can't have another push up. Not at all. And something else we did in the weekly, we at least closed, well, actually we didn't close above this. We stayed below it. In the weekly, we didn't do anything. It was the daily. 546 is what we need to close through in the weekly to get back on top of the 20. And then the daily is what we actually got back on top of some of this mess. Or the 4 hourly, I mean. Not the 4 hourly we got back on top over here. And now we're trying to reverse back up. But this still seems like there's some pressure building. There's not a lot of sell pressure here. And as the volume was coming down, as the price came down here, you had the volume coming down. This is what you want to see for the consolidation to be bullish. So this should pull us up a little bit more. It really should. 79 people watching now. Thank you very much. Or 80 people watching. 47 likes. Make sure to hit that like button. It will continue to push my content through the analytics. It'll allow more people to get here so that they can watch exactly what's going on here and stay ahead. If you don't want to hit the like button, you can always join Tom's Army. Or you can send a YouTube super chat, but I really think hitting that like button is pretty simple. So we're at 538. So our logical bounce here first on the 20-day would be to come to about that 5373 area if it's going to continue on. But I'm looking more in a higher time frame right now. If we come through that, we're probably going to come down here to about that 532 mark. We did have a golden cross here in the hour. And then in the 2 hourly, we're trying to come through the 100. It doesn't mean we have to come through, but that's a long leg doji. This could very well indicate that our next candle is going to be bearish, or that we're losing a little steam here. It's indecisive. It doesn't mean it can't go up farther. We're just having an indecisive moment here. That's all. Right now, you can see it's overly bearish in the 1 hour here. 45 minutes, same conditions. 30 minutes, same conditions. But the 30 minute, we would need to come down here and see if the first layer would stop us. And we're almost there now. No excuses not to hit the like button. Literally takes no effort. Laugh out. Exactly. Exactly, XRP. Exactly. It's one of those simple pleasures. You hit the like button, you make sure that the content goes around. We get more people here. See, every like you hit, the more people comes in. You don't want to break our streak. We always hit 100+% on the likes by the end of it. Yep, just positive news reaction as well. It's a win-win. I mean, everybody seems to think that this is just off the positive news reaction. Well, if that's the case, how did we see it in the charts if it's just because of the news? I believe the news predicts or the charts predict the news. So they have it set up in a certain way, and then they put the news out at the perfect time. When everything's got to go one way or the other anyhow, just a little added liquidity. So right now, does that look like Bitcoin's done, or does it look like it's building further pressure? It looks like it's building further pressure. It's just, even with building further pressure, a lot of times you will come down and hit these levels. But remember, what did I always tell everybody? I would be more confident in the prices when everybody was starting to say that it has to go down. When everybody says everything needs to go down, even the mainstream narrative, when they're all telling us we're going to the moon and now they're even saying we're about to collapse, that's when I tend to look the other way. That's how I knew this run was assured. I kept saying just, sometimes repetitive, it sucks, but, sometimes repetitive, you gotta be. I can't force it to go in a different way. So, but if anybody wants to add anything of relevance. So does this come up here and retest this area now? We've come on top of some key areas. The 4 hourly we're being rejected. Well, not rejected, but this is our next area to push over and hold is that 27,700 area. So we're over it right now, but we'll see. DXY 103.57. The DXY is not down to where I thought it had to go, even at minimum. I had targeted in the 30 minute how it came through. Right now, if we get that rejection at 103.66, we can continue down, and this is what we're looking for. This is just those small retracements It always happens like this. Just a lot of it's an optical illusion, in my opinion. You just pay attention and you can see the narrative at play. It's really unbelievable, the narrative that plays out. So now the daily, we're going to have to come down here because we're playing off the daily. We're going to have to come down to like the 103 spot 18. Oops. That's what I was talking about earlier. That's the level it seems like. It wants to come down here and make sure we're still bullish off of this looming golden cross that it could stop from happening if it just makes a play down on today's daily candle. So that's another thing. We're trying to get a rejection here in the 30-minute at 103 spot 666. Isn't it amazing how the support levels I put up here, or the levels work out as the support resistance as the price action moves around? And there's nothing ever in between, because there's nothing. It needs to hold this level or it's going to come back down for support. But we have, just because we come up, we can garner support in the middle of this pattern now. We can start to garner support here with the dollar, and we have to see, is this really reversing? Was it really a fake out through the daily, which I think it is. I thought a lot of this was a fake out. It was an artificial rise to downplay what happened with the bricks. So that's how I knew eventually here in the next few days, which played out now, it had to start reversing. We're in a huge rising channel here. Massive. And now if that's the start of a reversal, we haven't really had that many dives. We had one here, then we continued up. Right now, though, you're going to have a rejection and hold somewhere in that area where I showed you that daily bullish cross, or where it's trying to make the golden cross. You have to show support to continue this move, so it has volatility. We have gold, which is doing the opposite because it was in a falling channel, and now we see it's trying to finally break up. That's a major pivot point right there. If it holds at 1936 and breaks over, it's starting to make a massive reversal right now. Yes, please hit that like button. Please hit that like button. I would greatly appreciate it. With Solo, we had a nice day as well, about 10% move. We came out, remember yesterday we talked about the formation. I showed you how to do this yourself. You had the downtrend, but we had the falling channel that we've had on here forever. After it broke the uptrend, we had the falling channel, and then after it broke out, while it was still consolidating on the falling channel, resistance, now support. After breaking the short-term pattern, I showed everybody how to do it. I created this next layer of resistance based on the wicks. And sure as behold, that ends up being our major resistance right now. We stayed over, made a resistance push out of the channel. As you can see, we broke out here and bam. And now we went to the next layer. Now we have the mid-tier, and this was just created right here. So we have that there just so we know. And then if we break down, you could technically come down to like 8 cents and try to hit something that's forming here. But we broke out of that short term. It looked like a bear flag. Yeah, Corium chat. It's down substantially. Isn't it down like 90% right now in the last like month and a half? I know it is. I'm going to talk about Corium at a later date, but I don't have time today. My voice isn't going to allow it. Well, we'll go into Corium at a later. My voice isn't going to allow Corium. But XDC, we know about the run today. We're just looking to see how it reacts if it gets up to 709, as there really was nothing in between. Nothing in between. Yeah, Corium I have a plan to buy, but it's one of those things I got to figure it out more. It looked like it was going to have a huge downturn, and it has right now. I've been paying attention to it, so don't get me wrong. I'm paying attention to it. XLM, it had a breakout here from the formation, but now in the short-term formation, it's trying to make the breakout we talked about. This would confirm the breakout. We came to the 200. Now we're trying to hold and then break out to 13.2. If this pattern breaks out perfectly, as it looks like it's in an inverted head and shoulders with a nice consolidation, we could come up pretty far here. It's just, you know, we got to be careful here as well. So just pay very close attention to all of this. I think this is very important with the way this setup is, and it's starting to play out right now. So what does everybody think? I'm just curious. I got to grab something from inside. My wrap fell off from my hand, so that's going to stay painful. Sorry about that, everybody. I had to fix that real quick. I apologize. I appreciate 92 of you have found your way in here now. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So with XLM, we're trying to break out of the formation. After breaking out of the actual formation, this is actually what we created out the side of it after we broke out. But we need to break this to confirm the breakout, or we're just going to fill out here and see if we have to come back and retest this area. But right now we're showing a little bit of pressure here. We had a little bit of volume come in. So, oh yeah, we got some nice motors here. We have the Dream Cruise over on Woodward. And the road I live on is not terribly far from there, so people use this side to cut across. We also have, in where I live in Clawson, they also do like the hot rod shows and stuff up at the VFW hall. Or the Knights of, or whatever it's called. The Knights of Columbus as well. But it's not too far from my house. So it's cool. We get to hear a lot of cool stuff over here. So XLM, that's what we're looking at. I know everybody's focused on XRP. The market cap today had a good day. And the great thing about the market cap close is it hints at another move probably to the top side. Assuming we can hold this level. We're still well over this 28.3 billion. It was actually a really nice move up today in the daily. Spectacular. It's just, again, it showed a lot of lower end pressure there and then it pushed up, which means some of that volume coming up could have been overshadowed by the sell pressure. Like we had a little more pressure here. This is a very important candle. This is a very important candle. For XRP, we want to see it break over here. So we want to break this 29.07 billion in this daily candle. This is a very critical 24 hours once again. We want to come over 55 cents here and hold it. XLM and XRP consolidated similarly. Yep. They sure are. They sure have. And you can see the exact consolidation right now. And both of them are fighting their pattern resistance in the exact same way. Exact same way. XRP's up against it just like XLM. And if they break to the top side, they're going to be coming up to some pretty major resistance here if we break out of this level. So we're going to see though. We've had a nice little consolidation here down to 5379 after the 54.99. So it's interesting. It's kind of like we got to kill time here to see what comes next. But at the same time, we got to retest these levels. We know that we're about there now. See, we've been waiting. I would have loved to have seen it show some top end pressure to start this candle. But we knew coming into the candle that we were weak. We know we're weak coming into this daily. That's why it's so important not to lose it. That's a pretty weak setup right there. That, I mean, we know what it is. It's a gravestone. Whether we come up there or not, it's still a gravestone. So everybody, please, how many people are in here? 90 people. I think 77 of you for hitting that like button. It means a lot. What do you think about this? Do you think this candle is a continuation? And do you think we come up here? Do you think this is over already? That's the question. Do you think the rally's over? Do you think that was a short-lived rally? Bitcoin, remember, 27,700 is a major level. Not for the daily, but for the 4-hourly. If we want to get over the 200-day and start showing a short-term trend reversal, you got to hold that level at 27,700 at some point. We've had a bullish cross in the 4-hourly. And with that setup, if this stays bullish, this could have ambitions to get you up and retest those higher areas, even closer to 29,000. Maybe even further, coming up to 30, but you would have to hold this properly and break through a couple key resistance. I could see a case for XRP to pump another day or two. We've got the escrow dump on the 1st, so once that happens with the billion tokens, we always usually have a pump leading into it. And then it comes down and then it'll come right back up to where it was at. So basically, we came up from, let's just say 50 cents, 51 cents. Let's say the escrow dump happens and we're around 55 and then we end up at 53 and a half. It'll look like we dropped 10% or something. You know, because it'll probably go to 50, 51, then it'll recover at 53 and work its way back up. But it always does that. It always gets eaten up and they always store more back and yada, yada, yada. So it won't be 1 billion. Normally it's anywhere between 500 and 700 million when it's all said and done, because they always lock more away. But, you know, just get ready for the headlines. Oh my God, escrow releases $1 billion XRP. They're offing it. They're getting rid of it. There's always a bunch of storylines. It's funny. 1 hourly, we're trying to show some strength now here. Remember I talked about with this long leg doji, it's very important to break out in the 1 hourly. Especially with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin does it, most of the rest will follow. Nardis, yep. Indeed. In December, what did that say? Sorry, as you can see, it keeps going back and forth on myself. So December 2020, I got stuck in uphold 2, kept watching the price tank and could not tell. It's painful. Yep. That's why I say, if you're going to do it like that and you're worried about uphold, I keep telling everybody about FEMX. I'm not joking. If you're afraid, you hold it on uphold, or you put someone to the side that you want to sell and send it to FEMX. You don't have to do a VPN, no KYC if you're on and off ramping like that. And you can send, I believe it's what, 10 or 15,000 a day without a KYC. So I would highly encourage you to check that out, to have another alternative so that you can sell when it goes up. I keep talking about it. It's never gone down since I've been on it, even with the 94% rise with XRP during the big move up. So I'm paying attention to Bitcoin because everybody can see how important this is. Bitcoin's looking to break this area now, if it can come up here. 27,775. That's what we're looking at here. But I mean, it's very important. Well, even in 2021, when we had the massive rally, everything went down. Uphold even this year in 2023, it went up 94%. And it was down just as much as a month ago. It happens all the time. That's no surprise to uphold. But that's everywhere, you know, that's everything. But here, if you're interested in looking at FEMX, I'll share it in the bottom. Just because I think it's relevant. Everybody needs to pay attention to that. I really think they should. But yeah, I mean, that's the biggest problem right now with not just uphold, but in most of crypto. Most of the exchanges go down. And that's a safety thing for uphold, because they can't put out too much liquidity because they're not gaining money in a certain sense like a lot of the other exchanges. So they don't have as big of a liquidity pool to draw from. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you have to understand what that means. That's why the price is, you have high volumes of volatility. It's hard to move. I'm just going to share this. Miss Vicky gave me this idea. If you want to join Tom's Army, it's in the pinned comments if you want to show support, as I don't do any paid promotions, advertisements, or sponsorships of any kind. I don't charge you for anything, yada, yada, yada. So if at any time you want to show support for everything I do, you can join Tom's Army or send a YouTube super chat. But Bitcoin, I mean, this could be a massive push up too. That's a big flag that was formed. It's like, where would this start at now, ladies and gentlemen? Where would you consider Bitcoin? Because a lot of times we have rallies like this and a lot of people like to just end it. If this uses this as support, the technical target is 30K. It lines up perfectly. You can't make that up. If it lines up here for Bitcoin. If it breaks down and you use this as a resistance, and let's just say if this is where it ends for Bitcoin, you technically come down to 25,371, which ironically is right where we started. So, can't really make that up. Either way, Taylor May, welcome in. Thank you so much, love, for tuning in. So what does it look like more to you? Bitcoin has some pressure and momentum right now. This might give the institutions a reason to start maybe, you know, peeking their head back around the corner to crypto. Like I said, 2023 late is going to be very unpredictable. Everybody's going to think one thing, and it's going to do the exact opposite, and it's going to continue to. What do I think about VeChain, Sashir? I love when people ask me about VeChain. I love it. Up here's XRP's liquidity grab. It's grabbing liquidity. Hopefully, we'll find some footing here. Here's the liquidity. I'm just lighting my cannabis. If anybody has it, you're welcome to partake. I love VeChain, but right now, we'll go back to XRP after. We're trying to draw some liquidity here. This is actually good. And with Bitcoin, there's an opportunity that could possibly be looming. But with VeChain, I have 22,222 tokens of VeChain for transparency. VeChain is also lining up for a spectacular pump up here if it can continue. It's just, they could be putting in some bearish cycles here. That's what we have to pay attention to. What happened there? I must have picked the wrong thing. Holy crap, the storm's moving in, everybody. We may have a repeat in Michigan here. I mean, I don't know what the hell they're doing here. But all of a sudden, we're starting to have these really weird storms. And they're calling for a winter here. And listen to this. In November, they're saying, starting in November, we can expect snow, like, weekly. We haven't had a lot of snow in wintertime for the past, like, I don't know how many years it's been. And especially in November. And the last few winters have just been underperforming. But this is VeChain. We're likely going to come back up here and have to retest this area on VeChain at 193, you know, if we break up. And this is what XRP seems like it wants to do as well. We look like we want to retest the breakpoints. And if we do, that would trigger a price sell back down here. If it happens, I'm not saying it's going to, but that's your downtrend that it's forming. This is actually your range. We came down here so we could cycle back up. If it does, it's up to 3 cents overall. It's just we got to get past this feisty area. Very feisty. You know what else is feisty? The look of the skies right now. I'm going to say in the very near future, you know, if I ever have to get off like I always do when this stuff happens. Let's see. That's what the sky looks like behind me right now. So we're getting ready, folks. We're going to be getting ready for something more here. It's starting to move in. We can see it coming in now, so... it always swirls us now. It always comes, and look how weird the clouds always look. But look at that. It's coming. That's our famous gap right there where it always seems like we're going to get some nice weather. But anyhow. Oh yeah, I seen the dark clouds over there, Julie. So, and everybody's going to be leaving, and that's fine. That's fine. But that's what we're showing. So what does everybody else think? I'm just curious. So, but that's VeChain's range. Oh, you're welcome, Albert. You're welcome. With corporate taxes due September 15th and possible government shutdown October 2nd, the general public has no idea. The banks are already insolvent, entering a nightmare liquidity scenario in October. Yep. And OSW. What have I been telling everybody about bank bail-ins that are going to be coming? And what have I been telling everybody about taking your money out of the banks while you can? We got a problem. We got a big problem. We got a liquidity crunch like we've never seen before coming. I do appreciate all the comments. You're finding their mark. It's just, I'm just kind of, I'm new. Can you quickly touch on that? Touch on what, with the banks? It's just that the banks don't have enough capital, if that's what you're talking about. No capital. Zero capital. And the problem is you've had a lot of, it's going under the radar, that a lot of people have already taken their money out of the banks. A lot of people are going to the banks right now, and the bank bail-in, essentially, Obama passed it back in, I believe it was like 2011 or 2012. He signed in the next time how we had the bank bailout the next time it would be a bank balance where they can draw from everybody who's within the bank. Credit unions are under a different rule. So if you're in a bank, make sure it's a credit union. Yeah, I have less than $2,000 in the bank at any given time now. Precious metals is a good spot. Yep, it's starting. The skies are starting to light up now again. Awesome. But I do have the bank, only a small amount, precious metals, but then you've got to have fiat on hand as well. You got to have fiat, because when you go to the store, they're trying to tell you that, you know, you can't use your cash, but you have to use a credit card or whatever. One day you're not going to be able to use a credit card and they're only going to be accepting cash, and it's going to be a real big, like, what the hell? And then it'll go back to whatever they're going to, but they're going to have, you know, in emergencies, when the system's down, you always have to have cash, remember. But if you guys are interested, go check out my TikTok. Huh? It got real dark. But on my TikTok, I put out a video that I don't know if I can put it out on YouTube, and it shows you what's coming. The narrative, how the shift is happening, and how we're going back to going to be staying at home. And you can already see it playing out within the media. So if you want to see that, take a look at my TikTok. You know, I put a compilation together so everybody could see exactly what's going on across the country. So, but that's all I'm going to talk about that. Let's get back to XRP, as I'm going to have to end this shortly because the skies are starting to make that, pick up here. Do you think the commercial real estate market will collapse? I think we're going to have the subprime mortgage is probably going to collapse. So we're going to have, kind of unilaterally, we'll have a collapse, basically because there's not enough money to be paid. The interest rates are so high now that most people can't afford to buy a house. My house payment, due to because I have everything in escrow for the taxes, summer and winter, and for my homeowners and all that good stuff is escrowed in, went up almost, it was like $500 and something a month because of our state taxes going up in the summer and winter, and how much homeowners went up because of how hard it is to get parts and stuff to fix your house. Everybody's in for a rude awakening. We've seen sale signs. They're going up all around our neighborhood now, and I was trying to figure out why, and then I seen the escrow thing. I'm lucky that I can afford that right now. Imagine if I was at my lower times, there's no way I could afford an extra $500 or $550 a month just for my payment on my house, because the taxes are so upside down. My house should be appraised around 160 in any reasonable market. I owe 144, but it's appraised at 237. Like, it's unacceptable. So the taxes are drawn on what they say the estimate price is, what they value it at. So it's a sticky situation here where I live in Michigan. It really is. Home ownership is not all it's cracked up to be. And what just happened here not too long ago, I had to spend 10 grand or 9,200 on a new HVAC system. Okay, just join, let me tell you, we're thinking for XRP. Huh? Mark says, get as self-sufficient as possible. Absolutely. This is the time. I appreciate 100 of you joining me. I know, I feel it. It's okay. It's starting to rain, so if you see me log off at any point, I apologize. But we've done this. This is a repeat of earlier as well. I'm live, but we've talked about this as well earlier. So this is kind of the touch base. It looks like, though, that's a pretty bullish candle in the 2-hourly right now. That is a Dragonfly Doji. So just like in the daily, how it looked a little bearish, this still doesn't look bad. We grabbed liquidity. Anybody in leverage is probably whoa. Everybody is probably liquidated now. So that's what we have. But I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I'm going to have to get going here. I appreciate everybody. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. Consider joining Tom's Army. And I'll see you tomorrow at 7:47 Eastern Standard Time here for the live. And I'll see you for updates probably later. But right now, I've covered everything I need to. I appreciate everybody. And I appreciate everybody who tuned in to the live earlier for an hour and a half. But today was a jam-packed day. Thank you all, and I love you.